Time is something we wish we all had more of, and if you're anything like me, you'll do your fair share of digging before you buy a new game. Hello friends, it's Codiak here, one half of the team behind Legion Gaming, and today we'll be diving into Scrap Mechanic's new survival mode to determine if it's truly worth your time. Scrap Mechanic has been around for 4 years, but recently the game got a survival mode update, which is where our story begins. Much like other survival games, you're forced to manage your health, hunger, and thirst. But to do that, you have to put in the time to grow crops and gather resources. The game takes the intensity of the survival genre and wraps it into a colorful, cartoony package. But don't let that fool you. Scrap Mechanic does have its challenges, whether it be the enraged robots hunting you down at night, or the constant need to manage your fluctuating bodily needs. With your hammer in hand, you'll spend most of your time harvesting wood, metal, glue clams, and more. They're all vital pieces to larger components that you'll need to create, well, whatever you want. That's really the secret sauce that makes Scrap Mechanic so addicting. It's not the constant urges to harvest wood and metal, it's the idea that just beyond that next farming run, you'll be able to build the project of your dreams. Now I'm going to be honest, I'm not very good at designing something from nothing, but there is something about Scrap Mechanic that makes me want to try. After some successful farming runs, killing robots and hauling loot back, I was ready to up my game. I spent a few hours designing a farming vehicle that could help me collect metal more easily. Was the game forcing me to do it? No. Were they telling me the best way to do it? Absolutely not, but I still wanted to try. Now you may be saying, well, duh Codiak, that's a survival game in a nutshell, you big stupid idiot. And you'd be right, but there is a layer of logic to Scrap Mechanic unlike anything else I've ever experienced. Contraptions are only limited by your imagination, and in the 24 hours I've put into the game, I've yet to run into a scenario I couldn't overcome through the use of cleverness and technology. Want to create a dune buggy to go farming? You can do that. Interested in creating a self-maintaining farm with working irrigation systems? You can do that too. The game doesn't limit players' creation, and the level of depth and detail it takes to make some of these projects is astonishing. Buttons, switches, engines, they're all building blocks to bigger things. Seriously, go watch some other people create in this game and your mind will be blown. I know mine was. The truth is, Scrap Mechanic Survival Mode has put this game front and center once again, and it's the combination of survival elements and creative elements that make it so appealing. The idea that you could die by the hands of a robot or from your own stupidity gives your actions meaning. The more you instigate the robots, the more likely you are to get attacked, and you'd better be ready when they do, or you'll end up dying and losing some of what you've created. What I really enjoy is that the stakes aren't too high, they're reasonable, which makes bouncing back from a nasty situation all too easy. Scrap Mechanic Survival is designed to be played with friends. The experience is elevated tenfold just by adding another person into the mix. Everything gets easier because there are more of you, but strangely enough, everything gets more complicated too. Working with others is never easy, especially when it comes to limited resources you'll most likely have at your disposal. But when you do find that sweet spot when you're firing on all cylinders, the game truly reaches new heights. The only real downside at this point to multiplayer is that there are no dedicated servers. One person has to open up their game and other people have to join. The problem is there are some serious lag issues depending on who's hosting, who's connected, and it really can get to be a hot mess. If you get bored of building, there is always exploration and farming, and while there isn't a whole lot of depth to this system just yet, for an early access game there is plenty to sink your teeth into. Depending on whose world you're connecting to, your experience can be vastly different thanks to the randomly generated maps. At this point, the endgame includes storming the mysterious factory, and while I won't tell you too much about that because if you do decide to pick up the game, it's worth experiencing for yourself. It is important though to understand that while there is PvE content in the game, it's more or less one-dimensional. Of course, this is a brand new game mode for Scrap Mechanic, and it's clear after just a few hours that there is so much more the developers of Axolot Games can and will do for this game. The team has already teased a new scrap biome, which looks like something straight out of the old animated movie Robots. I'm incredibly excited about this because it could introduce new mechanics, new content, new enemies, and possibly new resources. If you want another game from Axolot to compare this to, just look at Raft, which is chock full of content and is still receiving updates. You're looking at a blank slate, and really, the sky's the limit. It's just a matter of being patient and waiting for more content to be added. So at the end of the day, we asked the question, is Scrap Mechanics Survival worth your time? If I had to answer the question, I'd say it's a resounding yes. Even more so if you can convince a friend or two to join you for the fun. Since this is an open-ended adventure, it's hard to put a cap on how many hours you could potentially sink into the game. As a solo player, you may wind up getting bored. Like I said, having a friend or two really elevates the experience in a way that's hard to describe. Even still, I can see anyone that's looking for a challenging creative experience to spend dozens, if not hundreds of hours in this game farming, looting, and creating. We hope this video helped you figure out if Scrap Mechanics Survival is worth your time. If you want more worth your time videos in your feed, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also, we invite you to join us on Discord. Our community of over 3,000 members is spread across dozens of great games, so check out that link below, join up, and make some new friends. We also recently launched our brand new Patreon page, so if you have a few bucks and want to support the channel even more, feel free to check that out. My name is Codiak, and from everyone here at Legion Gaming, thanks for watching, and play on.